Hello everyone on the interwebs, my name is Cortec, and today we're going to be watching a StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm replay between our blue Protoss. In the bottom left corner of the map, he is Axiom's Crank, versus our red Protoss in the upper right corner of the map. It is alternate Socke. Now the map is indeed Neoplanet. Let's talk about it a bit. You have a pretty easy to access expansion here. Pretty nice defend as well. But you have this little choke here, which is a little hard to block. Especially if you want to do some sentries, you need more force fields to actually block everything, and you need maybe more cannons here. Although this right here is a bit is the funnel and the choke really. Everything just funnels down like that, and then just a little hill right there. So you don't need as much if you do it correctly, because it is that small, that little thing right there. But then to expand to the third expansion, you can either go here, which is really exposed. You have this ramp here, which is used a lot for attacking. It is the easiest one to get to, but not the easiest one to attack into, as it is quite close to the base, and you can just, if you go like that to attack, you have no place to go. You just have to back out. But to defend, it is quite nice. You can still get a couple of harassments here or here. Most just go for here. But if you do expand actually here, you have this little pathway, which is really easy to harass from, really. You can just get a couple of run-bys going from here and just kill a bunch of probes, really. But to defend, it is still harder. That's a long rush distance to get the troops from here to here. Still gonna take a while, and if he is attacking with full force, then the expansion is already dead. This choke here is awesome for the player up here, because if you're around here, you don't have a lot of space. You're controlled by this part of the base right here. Although this player can just get a concave here, and if the battle doesn't work for him, he can just back out into his own base. Of course, you have a couple of rich minerals, your high yield minerals in the middle of the map. Not usually taken. It's a big risk. You can get there really easily. There's just a nice rush distance like that. The map is so good, and it's not that it's on a ladder because it's so circular, but you have so many pathways to choose from. You can choose from here or here, maybe around the back, even though it's longer, maybe around here. There are many ideas you could choose from, but they're still pretty awesome. Now we're seeing a pretty standard double gas play for Socke, with gas around 21 supply, getting two gateways out with 2 stalkers. Not chrono boosting out the warp gate research, actually. I guess it's not chrono boosting anything at all. Maybe saving it for something else. On the other hand, on Crank's side, we are seeing the exact same thing, although with that gateway then delayed. But we're already seeing a Stargate for Crank, so we might actually see some Horko harassment, maybe some Phoenixes to help with the main army, maybe kill the Mothership Core. That is actually in the play for one of the players, I believe. Yeah, Crank has his Mothership Core, and I don't believe that Socke does. No, he does not. I am not seeing it. He does not, but he does have a lot more Stalkers than Crank. But Crank is still getting those Stalkers out pretty nicely. Time for the Warp Gate is heavily favoring Crank in about 20-30 seconds. That's gonna make a huge difference. That's around a round of Stalkers. But, well, Crank went for the Oracle play, while Socke decided to go for the robotics way of playing things. Maybe he's going for some Colossi or some Immortals, maybe just for some Observers. But I think that Crank is going to use the Oracles for the Observe, or maybe just to kill some probes and just do a ton of damage to the mineral line. He is throwing down another gateway, and not throwing down any units. Oh wait, that's why. You cannot get any units out from the warp gates. He somehow supply blocked, which I find a bit odd. The Socke is just trying to poke around Crank's base, just poke around pretty much. Crank doing that bit of a proxy pylon style of things right here in the front of the natural base. Maybe get some more pins there along with the Oracle, because Socke has those stalkers there to prevent any Oracle play from doing a ton of damage. The pylon got cancelled though, which I find a bit weird. The stalkers are being spread heavily throughout the map. They are everywhere. They can scout everything that happens. The stalkers are blocking the entrance. The third gate being done for Socke. It's still not a warp gate. There we go. It is a warp gate. The pylon there just chilling in the back like a boss, warping in. It is here. It is ready to do some warp ins and just keep that supply. First immortal being out for Socke and just getting out the second one, but not chrono boosting it out. It is not his main priority. The stalker here poking around a bit more, but it got killed. No damage, I believe. It favored Crank. This pylon here got scouted by Crank indeed, and is being killed hit by hit. 8 points by 8 points, or 7 points by 7 points, until it slowly whittles away. Twilight Council being thrown down for Socke, and they're both actually deciding to expand. Crank doing that a bit earlier than Socke, but Socke has a supply lead even though he is supply blocked because of that pylon destroyed. The Observer here just scouting. He also has an expansion. He sees that, but I don't think he sees that he has Void Rays. Now he does. He sees the Void Rays, I believe. Yes, he does. He sees the Void Rays. He decides to just warp in and get a hallucinated Phoenix there. He knows he needs to destroy it because it's a scouting Phoenix, and it got killed, it got destroyed, no scouting done. The Oracle is still here, maybe gonna do some damage to the mineral line, but the Stalkers are still here. The Dark Shrine for Socke, so we're gonna see some Dark Templar play. The Oracle starting to do some damage, 2 kills, maybe the 3rd kill before going away. No, but it did do that vision. He can get the vision from the buildings that and the units that it targeted, and it didn't get killed, so it was nice damage for Crank. He couldn't have done more. The stalkers were already there, but 2 kills, the 100 minerals, 2 workers they cannot mine. It's still quite some damage. Well, Socke, I believe, hasn't done a lot of it, just a bit, but Crank is in the lead in terms of the units lost, but not by a lot. Looking at the units tab, we have 2 mortals and 7 stalkers and just a couple of sentries for Socke, while Crank is time to go a bit more air mix. For 4 stalkers, 3 void rays, 2 sentries, and 1 oracle. The damaging the harassment oracle. And the observer is here. It just sees the army. It just takes a little. It is just scouting the army composition, how it is improving as time goes by. Crank throwing down a proxy pylon right here next to the possible third. 2 gases being thrown down for Socke in the expansion, and of course Colonel Lucignanti +1 upgrade, damage +1 upgrades on the forge, so it is for ground. And they're starting to get a couple more gateways, but Socke decides to throw 2, while Crank decides to just throw 1 out. Hallucinated Phoenix here gonna scout. And Mother's of course taking no damage because of course it is an hallucination. All it is for is scouting. Socke going for charge instead of DTs. That Dark Shrine did get cancelled because it did get scouted. I actually think it was the right move. Crank would have expected the Dark Templars and it wouldn't have done any damage, and it would have been a huge time waste in terms of tech switch. But Crank just decided to go march on in front of Socke's base, making that pylon. And wow, is there actually a Dark Shrine? Am I missing a Dark Shrine? Am I missing a Dark Shrine? No, there is no Dark Shrine, but there is a Templar Archives. Hence, the Archons are going to do quite some damage versus those Zealots and those Stalkers, and they are going to be able to tank the damage. But the units are just starting to pile up in front of Socke's base, and I don't think he has the army against it. Maybe he actually does. The force field there were amazing. The Zealots are trapped in the back, cannot do a lot of damage. and the units out here in the back for Socke can do their damage because they are ranged units. The High Temper there just chilling, it just died quickly and instantly. The Void was doing a ton of damage versus the Immortals and the Archons, but they had to retreat because of the Photon overcharge. And they had to retreat, but they're still piling on, and he's just gonna keep pushing because Socke does not have the money to work on 6 gateways as it seems to be happening. Now, even though Socke is the one with the charge upgrade, it appears to be Crank that is using the Zealots more. The last battle, he used a ton of Zealots, maybe around 15, if I counted correctly, maybe 10. Another gateway for Socke. They're still both on 2 bases, which I believe is pretty standard in Protoss versus Protoss. The battle here, the choke for the Zealots are awesome for Socke, but they just ended up dying anyways. The Void is doing a ton of damage with prismatic alignment versus the Archons and the Void Rays, and the Archons and the Immortals. And the Archon here just moving on. The Void just cannot get to that Archon, because if they do, then it is GG for Socke for sure, because 5, 6 Void Rays in the fray for Crank are going to do a ton of damage versus 1 Archon and prismatic alignmented. No, not even prismatic alignment. It's exactly not even Socke's mothership core. Void Rays targeting the cannons, and of course more cannons, and now killing just a couple of probes. Maybe he's going to target down that or those Archons in the making and in the existence, and the probes are just getting targeted down one by one. Socke is taking an immense hit, and he cannot defend. There are too many Void Rays with prismatic alignment, no upgrades though, but by now it is GG for Socke. Victory by Crank, I believe. No defense, although he is just trying to send some Zealots and some probes to Crank's base, just trying to do a bit of damage, trying to poke around, trying to survive, really, trying to get the game, but I don't think he can. And he called it GG win by Crank. Those Void Rays did a ton of damage versus the Archons, the Immortals, and everything that Socke had. And the Oracle, and even though it did not do a lot of damage, still did a bit of damage. And he did need those DTs. Socke needed those DTs to actually try and win, but they got scouted and he couldn't follow that build. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.